And YouTube is coming. There it is. And gonna play the intro, pull Grace up in the process, and then we'll get started as soon as the room fills up a little bit. So here we go. So Grace, I'm gonna pull you up during the intro, so your mic is hot. Just know that. Hot just like you. Okay, hang on. How's it going, everybody? We've got Grace in the house. Let me just get everything fixed up right here. She should be on already. There she is. Oh my God, what's going on with you? Hey, you're muted. You're muted.
Yes.
Well, you've been
Hi, Todd.
What's happened to you?
What happened? Oh my God.
Suntan. You're looking like, God, somebody.
Oh my God.
Something. Something's happening.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Give me some of that water you're drinking. Give me whatever you're drinking. Whatever you're.
Oh my. Oh, it's bliss, pure bliss. This water, but it's soul water. It's soul water. Soul bliss.
Yeah, I know. I'm really glad you reached out. Or I don't know who reached out. I just remember you were on my mind, and then we connected, and then set something up. Because it's always refreshing to talk to you, because I can't wait till I see you in the flesh one day and we hug. But it's always refreshing to talk to you because there's no bullshit, I mean, when I met you, well, the first time, that we did that famous show, I mean, that you basically disappeared. You became translucent. I mean, there's no way you can deny this. I mean, it's like, no. But when I met you, this would have been two years ago. And
no, it's more. It's 3 years ago.
3 years ago. We were just getting ramped up. I know that. We were probably like at 400, maybe 300, 400 shows, maybe. So we're at 2,100 now, and everything's changed. Things have, and every time we talk, things are changing. But anyway, what the point I was going to make is, when I met you, you had been out there for a long time, and you had been doing something that a lot of people, not a lot, you had been doing something or exemplifying something that the others had been. I don't want to say it was an old paradigm. I want to say that it was what we needed to get to this certain place. We needed these channelers. We needed these people to connect. We needed these people that were bringing in the sacred wisdom in all different forms and fashion, and that were actually getting out there and sharing it, because a lot of people, a lot of folks that pull down sacred wisdom, particularly women, have felt that suppression and oppression energy, and were afraid to come out. And there's nothing wrong with that, because they're all starting to come out now. But what I'm trying to say is that ever since I met you, you're constantly in transition. You're constantly connected to your human. There is no bullshit. And the last 3 or 4 times we've talked, you just keep changing. And what I love about it is that you honor and revere and respect and love the human, and you can laugh about it. And so to me, you have made, for people that were in the role that you were in, because everything has changed. You have made one of the most seamless, smoothest transitions that I've seen of those people, because that was a lot to carry. And I see
Yeah.
some of them really struggle, and I feel for them. I wasn't in that situation. I didn't do that stuff. That's a lot to carry. It's a big challenge to the ego to be pulling in these divine essences and channeling, and then to be brought into 2019 and 2020 where everybody's eating humble pie, you know.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, so big props to you. I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you, what's going on in your life on a personal level. And I don't know what else to say. You're my sister. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you want to disappear, that's fine on this
Thank
episode.
you. Yeah, it's thank you so much for all that you said. Yes, of course, it has been a very long path, and I must admit, I mean, I've been on this path for the last like 30 years,
Yeah.
and it took me a long time to wanting to be on this planet, because I came here more or less like an awakened starseed. So I knew, where I was coming from, and I did go into amnesia. Otherwise, I could not have done what I've been doing, without, being able to relate, to others. So I have had, like most of us, my part of the trauma and all that stuff. But yet, when I came, I knew I came from the stars. I was standing out there gazing. Which one is it? Not if, but which one?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's been a long path. And this year, I must admit, I had moments where I really, because I learned to love to be here, and I wouldn't be anywhere else right
Yeah.
now. But it took me a long time, to really wanting to be on this planet. But I knew right from the start, I was here, to bust the system, to make change, starting in my own family, starting with myself.
Yeah.
And so indeed, it was a long path. But this year was the first year in this long path after my awakening where I really had moments where I said, oh my, I'd almost like to just split now,
Yeah.
It really had moments, because when you see people that are presented with truth right in their face and they are rejecting it, though, I mean, that was very tough for me to witness. When it's one thing not being really being so ignorant maybe that you don't see it. We are there to help each other, of course, but it's just like some things when it's presented to, there's some people when it's presented to them in plain sight, the truth, and then they're still denying it. It's like showing them a tree and they say, no, it's not a tree, it's a car,
Yeah.
or something like. And that
Yeah.
really got me, so I had some moments where it was a bit, and so I was also guided to retreat almost 1 month. I took a bit time away from Facebook, also because the energies, you see this polarity that we have been living for thousands of years now, of the Piscean age, the duality. It's just like now it's just like peaking, so
Yeah.
even within the spiritual community there has been so much division, attacking, and so on. And it's just not nice. It's not nice to look
No,
at,
it's
when
not.
people, one thing is, my post can be provoking sometimes, then I post things, sheep with a mask on or something like that, which had, got some of my old friends, like, they've known me for many years on Facebook, they just lost everything for me, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's okay, we move on and everyone is gonna wake up in their timing. But now I lost the thread. But
Well,
anyway,
you were just saying you taking some time
it
away.
has been a bit challenging to
Yeah.
see some that has really, don't want to see the truth and so on. But okay, everyone will do so in the right timing. And the thing is just the more you resist, the harder it gets. And when
Yeah.
you then really, you get kicked out, it will be like a shock wave to many people. And that's what I'm seeing coming, the next months. It will be like the shock wave, where people just get,
Well, it's happening.
it's happening
I mean,
already. Oh, yes.
but I mean, it's like it, the thing is, it doesn't even matter what the subject is, because it could be something that it's going on with yourself that you're unconscious of within yourself. It could be some type of absolute that you're holding on to, or biased or prejudice that concerns a family member or a friend or someone out in the community or the world in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The truth is not taking any fucking prisoners, man. I mean,
No.
it's saying, hey, you know what? It's time to belly up to the bar. I got a message today from somebody that's pretty well known that wanted me to pull 2 videos off of YouTube. And just said, I would like for you to remove these. And the thing is I thought about it for a second. I thought, wait a minute, this is, I've always looked at Soulology and everything that we do as a reflection, a small reflection of the universe. So you can't erase anything that's happened. You can't go in and erase the Akashic records.
No.
And I didn't want to make a big deal of it. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, because we cannot divorce ourselves from any aspect of the universe. And this is what we're finding out. It's time to come, as the Westerners say, it's time to come to Jesus, have a come to Jesus meeting, where you lay everything out on the table. This doesn't have to be muddy and dark and dirty and grimy. And it doesn't have to be like that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes.
Live and let live. If somebody wants to wear a mask,
live and let live,
and
that
yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing that has been bothering me, because it's like, I do share things sometimes, maybe things that you don't want to see and so on. But, I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to think. I just, offer something. You can do with it what you want. But the thing is, then when you start to get attacked, or people are telling you not to do this and that, don't post this, don't do that, don't talk like this, which has been a lot of, it's just like, who are you to judge, and tell me what to do? I'm not telling you what to do,
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of things have come up now. And, the thing is, we have to be true to our heart. We have to really not being scared, of standing tall and standing to our truth, because this is really needed now. We cannot hide and disguise ourselves anymore, because this is, for me, really, and I mean, it's really about, saving this planet now.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And it's up to each one of us. There's no one out there who's gonna come and save us, in any way. It's up to us to step up, to become sovereign beings, to take responsibility, and that's the only way. And not by dividing ourselves even more that we've already done. So come from a place of love and compassion and understanding, and allow each other their space and their time, to
walk the talk, right?
Yes.
I mean, walk the talk. I mean, look, you know what? It's not the commentaries, the posts, the videos, the lectures, it's the frequency.
Yeah.
So walk the fucking talk.
Yes.
And this is where the light worker community, the old saying, the higher you go, the harder you fall. The higher you go, the more your ass shows, however you want to put it. This community has taken it upon itself, and rightfully so, to lead the charge, right? And this is going back years, long before I ever got involved. But now we got to walk the talk. And if you're carrying a frequency that has a charge towards one polarity or the other, then you're no longer, just because you were part of the crew, and I'm not saying I was, and I'm not saying I am now, but I'm just trying to say, if you were part of the crew, doesn't mean that you have a free pass all the
No.
way to the end, or you can sustain or retain this label that you're giving yourself. The bottom line is we are frequency. And in every moment we have the opportunity to remain in that 0 point. We all know it's a work in process. But if we can't start to learn that, if we can't start to admit, because you can't tell me that we're not aware of when we project. And if we can't start to take that into ourselves,
Yeah.
and own it,
Yes.
and you know, bone it, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yes, that's
just
it.
and absolutely cut the bullshit.
That's what I mean about taking responsibility, you know,
Yeah.
taking responsibility, respond to your ability, own it, you know, and you know, it is as it is, you know. I mean, you can't, you know, as long as you keep denying and repressing, it's just magnifying and getting more and more and more, you know. So, I mean, get naked, you know, get naked.
That's what I was going to say. That's what one of your friends said here. I said, why do you look so good, Grace? And she said, that's because she's in divine coupling.
Oh my
I was
God.
going to say divine copulation, but I know
I'm
I'm
gonna tell you
misbehaving.
about it. I'm gonna tell you about it.
Uh-oh. Well, I noticed,
Uh-oh.
well, I can kind of feel you anyway sometimes. And I'll look at one of your little, you put one out about 4 or 5 days ago, and it didn't like, you know, it didn't, what am I trying to say? It wasn't talking, it wasn't like in a personal sense, like
No,
between you and your partner. It was more general, but I could tell
you
that
got the
you were in a
yeah,
euphoric,
because not I
ecstatic.
could see it in the comments that not everyone got it. That was the first one. Yeah, that was
Just be
you
careful
know.
when you're driving the car, you know.
Oh yes, I laughed so hard when I got that SMS from you. Oh my God. Yes, indeed. Yes. So okay, you know, I've been celibate for 11 years now. I've prepared for my divine consort,
Mm.
and you know, after you know my awakening, you know, I have been living in bliss with my inner beloved, you know, so I have not been in lack.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't made any compromises. I just knew, okay, when this guy's gonna turn up, whenever he's gonna turn up, I will just know, you know. And I
Yeah.
have been presented with members of my soul monad, you know, the last years, and connected, and also had some merging experiences, which I also shared about here. But you know, that wasn't the one, you know, that I was supposed to connect with. And then so let's just say I had prepared very well, and have really been in this bliss, and you know, it has been amazing. But the last few years, yes, I must admit, okay, I thought, okay, you know, I've been a bit annoyed, you know, and said to my guy, come on, you can orchestrate this, come on, you know, I know there's a divine timing, you know, but now I'm starting to getting really, you know, because, you know, you got so much love and you just want to share it, you know. And I mean, I thought 11 years, come on, you know, it's not because I'm impatient, you know. And then out of the blue, you know, when you least expect it, you know, there he is. And the funny thing was about Ryan. He's called Ryan. He's from America. He's from Denver.
I know.
Is that
I already
I
checked him
actually?
out, man. I checked his page out. I went deep.
Yeah, I thought you did.
No. Okay.
I was told about him 1 year ago. You know, after we came back from Scotland. You know, when we had this retreat in Scotland, I actually got a message from someone, and I didn't ask. You know, I haven't asked, oh, when do I meet this and that? You know, I don't ask this stuff, you know, because I know it all happened. But I was with someone that was talking to someone, and then I came there in the room, and she said, Grace Solaris. She said, then she started, how are you doing? This and that. And then she said, well, yeah, there's something I've got to tell you. And then she told me I'm going to meet you know, my beloved, and she said, watch out for Denver, Colorado.
Now, wait a minute. So somebody, you were talking to somebody online, or okay?
I was
And they said
someone.
beware. Yeah.
I was talking with someone, and this someone was talking with this other person, which is a psychic, which is a very clear
okay.
channel. And my friend was talking to her, and she and I came into the room, and then she said, great Solaris. And then she started talking, and then she said, actually, you know, I have this message for you. You have to be, there is a guy coming into your life, you know, and he's from Denver, Colorado. And then she told me about, we're going to work together. He's going to be a divine consort. He's going to help you to publish a book, and there'll be some work and stuff. There was even a name on the book. I don't know. I didn't write this stuff down, you know, because I didn't expect anything. You know, I hadn't asked for anything. And so I just went, okay, you know, I know that there are many channels that feel they are called to tell messages to all sorts of people. That's why I just take it cool, you know, because I mean, I didn't ask about anything, you know, but I appreciated today that she told me. And so when he contacts me, of course, I go, oh, Denver, Colorado, you know, I thought, was it Denver, Colorado? And then thank God I told my sister about it. I said, wasn't it Denver, Colorado? This is the guy I was going to meet. And she said, yeah, Denver, Colorado. Okay, yeah. And you know, Todd, what shall I say? We met, and it's just like, we always laugh a lot about when we say it's a perfect match. Perfect match. It's just like
how did that happen? I mean, in the literal sense, how did that happen? Did he like message you, or did something?
It was actually, he has seen me online, yes, on Facebook for a long time, and then he
was stalking.
And then he hadn't. First, he wanted to contact me, then he didn't for a long time. And then in June, he contacted me. And then he said he would like to work with me, have a session. If we could meet in Sedona. I said, I don't live in Sedona. I'm sorry, I can't meet you there. And then he said, okay. And then he said, because I'm going to Sedona, and I thought we could maybe meet up there. We could do a session there. And then I said, no, we can't do that, but we can meet on Skype. And then he said, okay, I'm going to contact you again. I'm going to Sedona now. What's happening with the...
It's me. You're good.
Okay, you're disappearing in smoke. and then I said, okay, so let's just get in touch whenever you're ready. And then he contacted me again, then after a month or something, and then we had the session, and you know.
Oh, so he came in the door. Well, I mean, he came in the door as a client.
Through a session, actually, through a session.
So you had a session with him. How did that go?
Yeah, and but it was like you know, like a nice guy. You know, I didn't, you know, but I could feel that there was still something kind of going on. Mm-hmm. But you know, I was really, you know, focused on the session. It was all good and so on. And then but it's funny when I look back, because it was recorded, you know, we look like two teenies or something, you know, so there's this funny energy, though we really focused on the session, but it's so on some other level, there's something taking place, you know? Yeah. So I guess also.
So you have a video recording of it.
Yes, I even have a video recording of it, our first meeting. That's so fun. And so we started to chat, and the next day he contacted me again, kind of had some questions. And then when we started to chat back and forth, and within very short time, we just found out, wow, there's something going on here. Some feelings are very strong. And it's just like developed so fast. And then from then on, it was just like, we just knew. And then we have been like 3-4 hours chatting throughout the night. I have to be up in the night because he's 8 hours.
He's 8 hours behind you.
Back from me. And then on Zoom, 3-4 hours in the daytime for me. So it's just like, it's almost 24/7. We have just been totally, and I mean, yes, melting, merging, tantric, come on, it's just like, it's beyond words. It's just like
See,
ongoing orgasmic bliss, you're
yeah,
just up here,
yeah,
There has also been some small issues coming up, some wounds,
yeah,
ancient wounds already within the short time, but we have really been able to address things.
yeah.
And the thing is that, like I said to him, and he has said the same thing.
What's
I
that?
said to him, I never ever felt so safe with someone. I
Yeah,
never known what it is. I've never known what it is to be safe.
yeah.
Not even with my own family,
That's a hard thing, I think, isn't it? I
Yeah,
mean, that's I think a hard thing for a man or a woman.
yeah.
After all the incarnations and everything that's happened.
That's the thing. That's the thing, because we've had so many experiences where we were let down,
Yeah,
betrayed, the whole
yeah,
claviature of what might go wrong.
yeah,
But we really managed to walk through it together very fast. And I love this book, the Magdalene manuscript, and that
yeah,
has always been like my manifesto for my sacred relationship. Because when I read that book the first time, I just knew this is what I've been looking for all my life, where everything is just transparency,
yeah,
every card on the table, no matter
yeah.
how intimidating it can be, no matter how painful it could be, you just need to put everything on the table, and
Hmm.
he's really willing to walk that path with me, so I'm just, oh my God,
That's a blessing, man.
I'm on my knees, I'm humbled.
Yeah,
I'm humbled.
and it's one thing to be in a place where you can pull that out of somebody. In other words, where you make them feel so safe that they're perfectly fine with being open with you. It's
Yeah.
another thing. It's another thing though to do it yourself. You know,
Yes.
so that
Yes.
it's and then the other thing that comes to mind is we were talking about what's been happening, which is very obvious. And when I say, I just sum it up with, it's time to walk the talk. Is that I think another thing that's happened, I don't know if it was the first of the year or 1st of June, and this is just my opinion, but there was something that's changed. You can call it quantum or whatever you want, that's a little bit different than it was before. And what that is that if at least in my opinion, if you focus on raising the frequency, not that you don't have some attention to things that come up, but there's
Mm.
some type of spectacular, real reciprocation occurring when you focus
Yeah.
on the things that raise your frequency. Like, so being with someone that you love, uh, working in collaboration with someone that you resonate with, doing things that you love doing. There's something about this new energy that brings in an expansion of light, or you become an expansion of light that in and of itself eradicates and transforms things that we at one time, and may still have to, we would go in and look for,
Yeah.
go in and look for these things that are causing these symptoms that I'm noticing in myself. But I think things are getting so loud now that the projection is so obvious that we're all discovering it in ourselves, and we're self-correcting. And I
Yes.
think these types of coming together, these divine couplings, as your friend says, I would say divine copulation based on what you're telling me.
Yes.
But
Yes.
those things cannot be underestimated, because they're having a huge impact. Because you
Yes.
can't get to oneness, you can't get 100 souls that have been through the incarnations we have on earth and to go to an immediate oneness. You have to
No.
go one by one. So
Yes.
it's two, and then the triads, which we've
Yes.
been experiencing, and then it probably goes to more like a monadic
Yeah.
design, and
Yes.
then but these
Absolutely.
relationships are very important. Maybe you guys can come on sometime.
Yes, I already told him. I'll bet that Todd will ask us to come on, and he said he would like to. He just said he
No.
needed a little more time. He hasn't been so much
Yeah.
I
There's
said
no
no problem,
rush. Yeah, no
anytime,
rush, no worries.
no rush.
And the thing,
But the thing is, as you're saying now about moving through these things, of course there will be things coming up, and what we often do, or what we have done in the few situations where there have been some small issues, some maybe old wound coming up. I also had a huge one. It's like, of course, speaking it up and just speaking about it, but also what we then do to some point, then we have learned that now sometimes it's just better to just stop it, and then we start to breathe together. We start to breathe and we connect, and we just let each other in. We just open the heart again, just breathe and open it again, because when you get triggered, even without you noticing it, you're closing your heart and you're creating separation.
Yes.
You're creating separation.
And then the loops start to play. Somebody was on, and I think it was, what's today, Friday? I think it was Monday. And I think it was Dr. Joe, the very first show. And I don't typically follow things like, I used the mudra that Morgan taught me, 3 fingers on your strong hand to the heart, and a couple of other little mantras that she's given me. But he said, when, I think it was him, when you get in that situation, put your hand on your heart and then just connect your breathing with your heart.
Yes.
Something like that. So it happened to me the other day, and I was like, okay. And I've done it like 3 times now. So I just go by myself. I put my hand on my heart. And I just breathe, and it works a lot like the mudra that she showed me. It's a little bit different because it does something to, I don't know if it's to my heart's electromagnetic field or something happens, because I can feel like a stabilization on if this makes sense, like on a horizontal basis, like my field going out, like it's just
expansion. You expand your field.
Yeah, so I think sometimes the nonverbal is very good. And I know Morgan and I have used where we just sit across from each other, and things get, if things get too imbalanced, we sit across from each other and just look at each other.
Yeah.
And the last time I remember doing it, it took like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But it worked,
Yes, it's great. Yes. So, so it's just like, I mean, I had pretty high, wild dreams about this, but this is even beyond my wildest dreams, I must say, so I'm just so grateful. And then we had Joshua coming to us the other day.
Oh, wow.
And he came in and he just downloaded something or the other at the back of my high heart.
Wow.
And that was where we had a small issue, and he just came in there, and I'm very connected to Joshua, very much. I've been, since I was a teenager, and I've throughout my, he's one of my closest guides, and he just came in, and it was just like totally overlit by him. And then he just like talked to me, and he just like gave us such deep reassurance, that, it's all good. It's just relax into it and just breathe, and just everything is good. And it was like receiving a divine blessing of our union.
Yeah.
And him really seeing the energy. And I had this spot where he had, I feel it now in this moment. It hasn't left. It's there all the time, So it's really some kind of sealed the energies and blessed us in such. I was crying, Todd. I was crying so out loud, when, I mean, not just a tear here and there. I mean, really crying, because there was so much depth in that. He told me a lot of things that I can't even put words to, but I just knew, okay, this is it. There's no reason to worry, this is really it. And, gave me so much reassurance. And
so certainly there's something going on here, because as you're saying that, we hit 144 people on the platforms, and you started going light again.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So this is gonna.
it's like what we are experiencing when we are merging, it's like, it's really like dissolving. You're just dissolving.
Yeah.
That's what you're dissolving into consciousness, and you just blend in together. And when the frequency gets so high, it's like you're just dissolving, and you become totally liquid.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I know Morgan said last year, as we were approaching 2020, she said this will be a year of collaboration and co-creation. And she said this will also be a year when you'll see a significant number of
Yes.
couplings. And
Yes.
I remember that. And it's been happening. And I think,
It's funny you say couplings, because you know what I sometimes feel like when we are really connecting consciously, it's almost like, when you see the Star Wars and when the starships, they connect like
yeah.
this magnetic
Yeah.
surge.
Yes.
It's really like, it's so powerful, right?
I get that. Yeah, I get that visual too. And I've had one like that. And this has been happening, like say the last, I don't know, 2 months. And it's not words. And what it is, there's like this, that's a great analogy, that what you just said. So I see it like, she's like, it's a circle, it's like the landing base on the ships, right? And it's magnetic. It's magnetic. And then I can see where I'm coming in, and I always see all this electricity like flying off of it, like it's crazy that you said that, because I've actually been seeing that. I thought, what is that? I understand the electrical and the magnetic part, but there's something that's happening as it's approaching in that electrical field. And
in
it's
that
to
field
me,
there,
it's like new or like new,
that's
new creation.
nuclear. When you come into that field together, it's just like, it's amazing what you can do with that energy. I mean, amazing. And you could really give birth to stars and galaxies, and also I mean, it's free energy, right?
Yeah. Well, I think what it is what's happening is this, it's new energy. It's like new birth, new creation.
Yes.
It's like a remix of everything that's existed. Now she brings this and he brings that, and we're talking energy because it's in you and in that other person. And then it comes, and then that third energy is created.
A third energy.
Yeah, which is what the psychic told you. Not only did they tell you that he would be in Denver, but that you would be collaborating. And that's, I talked to Ian Morris yesterday. He does that incredible listening to smile.com. He does these incredible music productions. You can't even call it music, but I didn't know that it was a lot like Soulgy. He had already established it. He met his partner Dana 3 years ago, and it went to another level. Yeah. And so there's a lot to be said for that. Just like Soulgy. Soulgy was just a certain little something, and then Morgan came in, and then it just exploded, so I can imagine as you guys start to collaborate, what's going to happen.
That's what I said to him. I already said to him, I don't know what's going to happen. Anything, when we get together, I mean, it's going to be explosive. That's all I'm saying. Right. In the physical, because already now it's explosive. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to, but of course of flight restrictions, we can't get together right now,
Well,
he would already have been here if he,
right. Yeah. But, I mean, hey,
but just to get to follow up on what you were saying is that I have also said to him, I mean, no matter what I made in the past, I know that it might be completely something different now, because we are going to serve together. There is some special thing that two of us are going to do that I don't know, and I'm making a cross, whatever I did before, something I might still be doing, but I know that now I'm going to move into the unknown. I'm going to move into something entirely new, and something that only he and I can create through our collaboration, through our energy, through our alchemy. We have something to offer,
It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here, man. It's getting hot in here. Somebody put a fire hose on. Woo! I can feel that energy, man. Woo! You
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, but it is really hot.
so,
Yeah,
and you know, one of the things that served us, you know, was um, the separation. Like
yeah,
it took, I think, I want to say about
yeah. How
60.
long time did it take before you actually,
Let's see,
wasn't it
so
a year?
September 2015 till I want to say late April of 2017. So it was about 18 months, 20 months. But the benefit
Yeah.
of that was one of the many benefits of that was that the soul merging, the
Yes,
Helioscomas.
exactly. You could prepare yourself.
Yeah. So the that part of it, which I was totally new to me, at least in a conscious way, and that part of it, of course, everybody has a different path. You know, I had a
Yeah,
lot of stuff to work out once we got into, you know, physical contact. But that was a huge anchor. Like I knew
yeah,
from the moment I heard her voice, but still, as with all of us, whether we're alone or with somebody, and we have these things coming in, even today, we still go, am I crazy? Am I
yeah.
imagining? You know what I mean? So,
Yes,
but I believe that the Helioscamos, the soul merging, was not only one of the many attributes of it was it really anchored us in, and so
yeah,
there was a lot of mutual dimensional. You know, she could say something, and it would immediately the movie projector would start playing in my head. You know,
yeah,
I can remember one of the first time, and we could have been talking maybe 5 weeks, right? And and I immediately I saw us in this inside of a cave, and
yeah,
it was like a let's just say like a say like in Shasta,
yeah.
there's like a space center
Yes,
from our star family. So it was
yeah,
like that, and then she says to me, we're being like recognized or something like, and it was a
yeah.
galactic atmosphere. And I remember seeing both of us. We were dressed in blue, and we walked down this kind of
Hall.
plank and kneeled, and they
Okay.
basically. But what I'm trying to say is that there's such a connection that it's instant. You know, like it's instant. The things that she might say. Like the first time she said to me, "Pull your higher self up," and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. She goes, just ask them, and then boom.
Yeah.
So there's something about the feminine, in my opinion, that opens the masculine
Yes.
to himself, and
Yeah.
then he begins to grow, and they begin to dance. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
Yes, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage, you know, which I'm so grateful that, Ryan is able to do that. And, we have also have different paths. And I mean, already what he have done in this little time now, I'm amazed, I'm just like, oh my God, thank
Hmm.
you. I mean, you're so courageous, uh, yeah, just amazing. But funny about those visions that you said, we've also had many visions,
I bet. I bet.
yeah, of us. Both he and I have had visions. So
Now
yeah, so it's an
he's
ancient connection,
yeah,
So
of
whether you
course.
call it this or that, it doesn't really.
That's right. That's right. That's
It's
right.
also the energy that matters, and you just, I mean, like you just feel this just feels right, and you feel safe, you feel good, you feel, it's just like every everything fits,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you can't have issues coming up, but you just feel totally safe,
Yeah.
we both do, he and I, so absolutely. And there's this commitment, there's this devotion. It's just
Hmm.
like, you know, eternal devotion, commitment, no matter, and it's so strong. You can't even if you said, if ego should come, it's
It
so overpowering
yeah.
almost. Yeah,
Well,
it's a soul. It's really the soul.
yeah.
It's coming through so strongly, and soul, they recognizes each other and then say, yeah, now we finally found each other, and we are not gonna,
You know,
let you
yeah.
let you guys mess it up,
Well, you know, it's funny too because that third energy, or you can call it the universe or the higher selves, it you can see evidence of its influence, and I don't want to say control, but I think of like when Morgan came the first time, and because she already had, like you, she had already been pulling in all this information. She, like
Yes.
you, she pulled in Ascension downloads 10 years before I ever met her.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about any of that stuff. And I was connected, but I had obviously a lot of shadows. So when she came in the door, she said, "We don't have a lot of time. We need to get to work. And
Yes.
we need to like, clear some of these shadows." And I was like, what are you talking about? But once I understood it, then we went at it. And so for about 3 weeks we went by, and of course I'm going at warp speed. I'm doing this all day long.
Yeah.
And you
It's
know
a
how that,
full-time job.
but when that happens, when you do that kind of work, it creates a lot of imbalance, and you can fluctuate a little bit. So anyway, one day things got heated, and she's like, "Well, I'm leaving." And I was like, okay, whatever. And so the funny thing was, my relative drove her to the airport, and there's
Yeah.
2 airports in Houston. And as soon as she left, I knew she wasn't going. But you know how it
Yeah.
is. You're still like, okay,
Yeah.
am I crazy? But I knew it. And then, so anyway, what happened, long story short, she can't fly out of the one airport. She gets a taxi to the other airport. Now, this is 2 international airports. She can't fly out of that one. She's just trying to go to New York, from
She
Houston,
couldn't get
which
away.
she couldn't get away. And so she
No.
sent me a note.
Amazing.
And when she sent me the note, she just said, "Can you help me?" And as soon as I got it, then that gave me the validation of what I had felt. And I said, "You know
Yeah.
what? I'm just going to come pick you up, and
Yeah.
let's start anew." So that's what I'm getting at. There's like that invisible hand of providence moves
Yes.
things out of the way and sets things up. I'm convinced, like even now with this worldwide quarantine, uh, that for a lot of people, even individuals, to be in a certain spot, holding up the light,
Yes.
without the choice of, with being immobilized, so
Yeah. Yes.
exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so of course that's also what we talked about. On one hand, it's annoying that we can't get together, but on the other hand, there is a divine order, and it's good for us to really being able to use this time, to for the merging process, and really to prepare ourselves. And as I said, some few issues had come up, and I said, thank God, good that they come up now. Wonderful, fantastic. Better now than
Yeah,
when we are getting together. Then there'll probably be some other stuff. Who knows? But so it serves a purpose for sure.
it really is a just reward. and,
Yeah.
and I think it's an indicator or indicative of of what all of us, 7.7 billion, and any of them that have passed through here that are coming back, because this has been a hell of a task.
Yeah.
This has been a huge effort, and on the individual level, everybody's put some work out, and I think this is a big indicator, where you're going to see more and more, as we're seeing more and more of these couplings occurring.
Yes.
So eventually, nobody will be able to drive a car because they'll be in an orgasmic
No.
state all the time.
Yeah.
We'll
Exactly.
have to go back to flying carpets and brooms.
Yes, exactly. That's much easier. No, we will teleport. So we don't need anything else than that. So and so what is also funny about because we are also like a bit exploring. That's also this, and we see how in sync we are. Sometimes when we're chatting, I'm not so fast, writing on my cell phone. In the night, I always have the cell phone because I'm in the bed, so I'm not at my laptop. And sometimes it's just incredible, the telepathic, the
Yeah,
sync that we are in, the divine sync.
yeah.
So I write something and then he clicked, then it comes from him. It's just amazing. So I think it's also good to explore, the and to fine tune our telepathic skills.
Yes. Oh,
I
yes.
once read a book. It's by a Danish Lama, actually Buddhist Lama, and he used to be a really punching guy and drugs and all sorts, and then he became a Buddhist, right? And so they were in India, and then he met with his woman there, whatever they, his beloved. For some reason, I can't remember why, but they came into prison. They got imprisoned, and they had 2 different cells. So they had they were experimenting with telepathy. So they made up agreements at this and that time. I'm gonna transmit something to you, and then they should prove whether this was right or not. So actually they got really good at telepathing to each other.
Yeah.
So so
it's real. I was going to mention that earlier, and here we are with telepathy. But I was going to mention that I remember, for me anyway, that when we first met, and we would talk on the phone, because she would never video. She didn't video with me until like a week before she came. That was the first time I ever saw her, and maybe 3 pictures, But I remember, because I'd lay on the couch most of the time, because it would be because of the time difference, like you're dealing with, and so it would be nighttime for me, and or early in the morning, and I would lay on the couch, and as I was talking to her, I really started to get tones. I started really, for the first time, getting these tones, and they started coming in, and then I started to see like literally a cord connection, a cord that was almost like a rope, that's twined and intertwined with a lot of different threads, and other things would start. And so it helped me to open up not just the third eye, but also the higher sensitivities. Robert Sepper at Atlantean Gardens, who I post a lot of his stuff, and a lot of people are familiar with him. He just put out a video production. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's about telepathy. Now he's an anthropologist, so he's very scientific. He stays very objective, but it's entitled Telepathy and Mental Projection, or something like that. I might have the last word wrong, but this is real. This is absolutely real, and it's a lot easier to bring this stuff in when you have 2 or more. Where 2 or more gather, which right now it's 2. Yeah.
And we actually do it all sometimes, like okay, now I'm gonna touch your shoulder, and we can actually feel it.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. Oh my God. And then the body, how it reacts, on its own accord, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It absolutely. And
but you are right. There are many couples coming together now. So that's really amazing. But that was also my feeling by the start of the year, and we also had this Arcturian activation, where we also ushered in those beloved essence, higher aspects. Because for some to come together, they would need to bring in some of their higher aspects.
Yes.
To be in this wholeness, for them to be ready. And this was also the case here. But there's a lot of things also, especially happening for Ryan, because I've already been in this process. So there's a lot of work being done on him, and also aspects coming in and so on. So it's very exciting.
It sounds very similar, and I think the templates, pretty much from what I've seen, pretty much have held to, she's the transmitter, the connection. Obviously he's got one, but there's something different. Women's intuition. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. But anyway, and then again, they both have 2 different journeys. One is a predominant masculine experience, and then vice versa. So there's a lot of stuff that comes in. We see a lot of polarities, and they can be soft, and they can be more enhanced and heavier, but you see a lot of polarities, almost to a point for me where it's kind of funny. But I'll tell you one thing about it, that for me, the polarities, like if I looked at polarity in a relationship prior to Morgan, which I didn't have one 5-6 years the last one in 5-6 years before that, then I would look at it as a negative. But one thing I see is in the polarities, I know there's a beautiful merging in that, just like the moments you're talking about that y'all have had, I can look at those and I'm like, you know what? There's nothing but gold on the other side of this. As the polarities merge, consciously, unconsciously, verbally spoken and not, all these things, the different events and the different things that happen, they can be a little uncomfortable, but there's always a huge expansion. Always. That
Exactly.
never fails.
And that's exactly because every time you have moved through an issue and transformed it, it's just like, wow, then you get to the next level, and your connection is just getting deeper, and you can surrender and merge even deeper. It's all about surrendering, all
Yes,
about surrendering.
absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what you were talking about at the beginning. You were talking about, how did you put that? And so we were talking like, how do you open up? I mean, you're a practitioner. Morgan is a practitioner. I don't know if your partner is, but the whole point is like, when a practitioner talks about somebody comes into my space, how do you do a session? I open my field totally, and then how it goes from there is kind of dependent on how much the client can open up, right? And then that's where the magic occurs and all that. But it's really,
and then strip them naked sometimes if they don't do it voluntarily.
Yeah.
You have to find an entrance.
Yeah.
But you can't force anyone.
No.
So there has, and sometimes I have to say to a client,
well, it's a surrender.
I feel, I had one not maybe a week ago or something, and I said to her, I don't feel you're connecting with me. You have to connect with me, and you can't say I can't connect.
Yeah.
One thing to say I can't feel or something because your heart is closed, but you can connect. Do you want to connect? Yes. Do you want this? Do you want to open up? Do you want to transform? Then you need to connect. Yeah. That's the first thing. You have to be present. And then you have to connect.
You're turning white.
Okay. And then you connect, then you start to open for the possibility of transmutation and so on. Yeah. So so it's all about surrendering.
Yeah, and that's right.
Willingness.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. It's like the same type of template, because what are you talking about? You're talking about, you can say surrendering to the two, to the coupling, but really to get to that point, and I don't know what the order is, but at some level, you're actually surrendering to the other person.
I say you give up yourself. You give up yourself.
That's right. As to me, it's like the ultimate step in faith, that you're looking at something in your physical experience, in your physical incarnation, that is physical, right? That is
absolutely,
and that is the closest to God that you have experienced. And yet we still have these levels and layers, and you can surrender and have an incredible orgasmic, soulgasmic, whatever, and then wake up the next day and there's new fields to plow. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's
absolutely, and that's the thing is, and that's what I'm sensing. And I've had some incredible mergings also, with another from my monadic field. I once told you about it. This was a shaman, it went on for 2 days, like, I don't know how many hours. There was absolutely no touch. There's no sexual thing, not even touching. We were sitting like, I don't know in feet, but 5-6 meters from each other. And it was, it was just amazing, right? But the thing is, this merging is not like, okay, now we merged. No, it's ongoing. It doesn't stop.
Right.
that's the universe. Think
That's
about the
right.
universe. It's
Yeah.
forever expansive,
Yeah.
blending, merging, ex, it's forever expanding. That's how the universe is, and we are, like the universe. When we become pure consciousness, that there is just this is the natural course of evolution, that this
Yeah.
is ongoing growth.
It's the embodiment. It's the embodiment of how it works up there. We're doing it
Yeah.
in a heavy, dense realm. And I'll tell you another thing that I noticed, which is really powerful. The more that you come together, and can be done obviously in the etheric field, and then of course when you're together. But the more you come together, the more oneness there is, and it's very subtle. Like I can remember going back a couple of years ago, we had extraordinary. The second time she came, in the first week, we had Star Family materializing in the room. We had a morphine episode where we looked at each other and we were literally
Yeah.
changing into different for 45 minutes. And then other times, I can remember another time we were in Hawaii and here we go with the telepathy.
Yeah.
So many times we would go to bed at night and we'll get up the next morning and I'd say, well, did you know this is what I felt? And she goes, well, that's what happened for me. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing basically, right? But I remember one night we put our hands together and it was like there was all this vibration, and then we
Yeah.
physically came together and my eyes just started going like this. And then I'm really looking at myself to see, do I have breast? Like
Yeah.
I was her. So you have all these things happen, and then you get down the road, and the connection is so far beyond what it was that you almost forget. It's just like all of us, really, in our singular experience, where we've had wake up experiences. You have a divine episode, and you have this synchronicity happen, and then you get 2 years down the road, and you're like, "Where's everybody at?"
Yeah.
Or you're like, "I want to get out of here," like you were talking about earlier. And then you forget about all the things that got you here. And I don't
Yeah.
mean that in a bad way. I'm just trying to say it's moving for all of us in such a subtle pace that if we can just take a breath and look back, man, we have come a long way, even since I've known you for 3 years.
Yeah.
Or any of us
Absolutely.
look back 5-6 years ago, who were we?
Yeah.
This is all reflective of the collective expansion.
Yeah. It's true.
It's far out.
Yeah.
How's your daughter doing?
Oh, my daughter. Oh, she's like preteen. Like it's funny because my son is much older. He's like 4.5 years older.
Mm-hmm.
And she's almost like more teenage, that he
There
is.
he is.
I mean,
Well, but
of course, girls are,
yeah, they move a lot
but
quicker.
there's 4.5 years difference.
Yeah.
And
So she's what, 11, 12?
She's 11, yeah.
Yeah,
11.
that's the age.
Yeah.
Mine hit
Yeah.
11, man. They're like, especially the last two. But does she know about your situation?
Yeah, of course. I always tell them everything.
Good.
I've always, with my kids, I speak to them soul to soul.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes when I sit and I speak with my daughter or something, and we're in such deep conversation, and then if she then rises, from the chair and goes, and then suddenly I get her, because I see her in that small body, it's just like, huh?
Yeah, they're the real game changer.
And it happens often. It happens again and again.
Yeah.
I simply forget that because, we are totally, I don't see her as of course, I know she's a child on some level, but, I've always connected with my children from soul to soul. I communicated with them from soul to soul. So, I've got these two masters at my side. So
they're the real game changers now, aren't they? These
yeah.
kids are the real game changers. My youngest is 18 and she just got out of high school. And of course, under quarantine and, her mother died or transitioned a few years ago. I think it was 6 days before her birthday, I think I'm gonna say her 11th birthday. This kid's so resilient. They all are. And all these obstacles that popped up, since the quarantine, like where she's going to go to school and where she's living. And she might call me now and then, goes, I need to talk, or, but 99.99% of it is her own doing, her own manifestation, her own resolution, her own creation. And that energy, and that's just just a reflection of that energy that these kids are bringing. It's the real game changer, man. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're so cool. I mean, lately, it's just an example. I had to bring them back to Germany to their father. That they visit him regularly, and so I drive down to Hamburg or Kiel or somewhere, and we got down there. And normally we take more or less the same train, but that particular day I thought I just go and check at the counter, because I don't know, I just wanted to ask, when does the train arrive? I know it normally arrives like half an hour before, and then they can jump on the train and I can get back, but that day I thought, just go and check it. And the funny thing was, the train wasn't coming, so we had to get fast in the car and get another train because the train didn't arrive in that particular station. So we had to catch it up somewhere else and drive to that other station of Hanover or something, So we had to drive to that other place, and the woman at the counter said, if you hurry up, you could get that train, and it was just like, they are so cool, that they're just like, okay, then we're just gonna do that, and I was more like, okay, come on, get in the car. So I got a bit excited, I didn't get stressed, but I got a bit excited, and they were just like, no problem, we get that one, and if we don't get that one, then we get another one, I said, of course, you're right. So totally cool.
They are, man, they are. Like I was telling somebody this yesterday. So when I came off the streets, I got the two little ones back. So they would have been like 11 and 12. Their mother had been dead a year. And there was a lot of traumas, and there was a lot of crap went on, So we got back together, and I was connected. I was doing Soldier One Studios. I was starting all that, and, but they were going to school. So they'd come home every day, and I'd pop into 3D Dad, and this went on for a while, and it just didn't work. Because they were full blown, unconscious, but had the frequency. And so every Friday I would sit them down at the kitchen table, and I would pace up and back and forth in front of them, and I would lecture them, and it took about 6 of those. And because every time I'd get done, their face would never change. Just like you were imitating your kid a minute ago, they would just look at me. And then I'd be done there, and they wouldn't say it, but they'd be like saying with their eyes, "Are you done now? Can we go?"
Yeah.
And it's just like, so finally I realized, what, it's not them, it's me.
Yeah.
Right? Like exactly. Attached, emulate that frequency, and that's the gift. And that's very true. Between them two and Morgan was a huge offering of feminine and that young, untainted or more aligned DNA through those kids. So you have one of your events coming up tomorrow, right? Yeah,
I have for the Lionsgate tomorrow. I have a big event. There's already 1,100 people signed up already. It's a big one. There's a lot of resonance here. So so it's really about for clearing again this. What the Arcturian said to me, the fear hostility program towards our galactic family. Yeah.
You're talking about like towards contact, towards disclosure?
Yeah, exact. Okay. For disclosure, because it is a matter of time before there will be more close contact. There are already collaborations. Some people maybe know that, the Star and Earth Alliance, they're already supporting behind the scenes, to take down the cabal and all that, and they will, of course, assist us also in the creation of the new Earth. They come in with a lot of technologies and help and so on, but they're not going to save us,
No.
But the thing is, what the Arcturian said, which made totally sense to me, and they've said it several times, you need to clear that program, because when finally contact, you have been groomed so much,
Yeah.
by Hollywood, like, oh, they are monsters, they are evil, and I had this vision also that the cabal will use this. They have prepared us, they have been grooming us.
Absolutely.
And the next thing they will come up with, that is, this is the new threat.
Yeah.
It's the new threat. Yeah. To abstract from themselves and so creating this enemy fear, enemy thing there, so that connection will be disrupted,
Yeah.
and
Well, they've been planning this. I mean,
guys that you say up that it's us.
Yeah, of course.
It's part of who we are. We have higher aspects that are just in the higher dimensions, and we need to integrate these. And I've worked a lot of integrating these different aspects that have presented themselves to me. And it's just like you're getting more and more whole from every time you bring in these lost aspects. And, so that's so much needed. But there is so much that have been done to creating this division also between our higher aspects in the sense of the galactic aspects, that it's so important right now that we clear it, also because of what's coming, because this close contact. And I don't know if you have noticed it, but there has been many people speaking about, the last half year, something increasingly, you start to see, they start not to disguise them so much anymore. Do you really start to see videos coming around where they, where you can see them better, or that they're not disguising so much anymore? They are allowing themselves to be seen more and more. They are preparing us.
Yeah. The clouds, you're talking about the clouds?
Yeah, in the clouds sometimes, but not only the clouds, sometimes you really see crafts also.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
And then again, so that's one part, to clear all that. And then the other part is this comet, the Neo-wise, that was here, that many don't talk about it any longer, but I can tell you that its energy is still here. It's very prominent, and it's a very slow moving comet.
Does it have a specific field, sphere of influence, or categories or aspects that we can be aware of?
Yeah, it's really here to bring down this old stuff. This is really kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
This is kicking ass to really bring this down, these rigid structures that haven't, yet been able to be. So this is really dismantling, making everything collapse, within ourselves, within society, all the structures, and really bringing everything up to the surface now, so that we can see everything as it is. So it's really bringing in that energy needed to bring down the old, really, for once and for all, And again, it brings also the new building blocks, the new light keys and codes for the new earth, that we need at this time, for the seeding of the new earth. So it's like one part of the activation is like a clearing of that programming to make an opening for this close encounter, for the close contact that will come. And I don't think it's so long around the corner now. So certainly, maybe not this year. I mean, they already they are having contacts with people here and there. There are many people telling that they have been guided, had downloads, or they have been in contact telepathically, and received information or downloads and so on.
Yeah.
And it's just increasing now. And I believe there will be something or the other. 2021, there will be something or the other, something big, with
I'm with you. I don't think this is, these, I'm not making fun of anybody, but these predictions of 2024 and 2030 and 2035, and I think we're we're blowing and going here. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree with you. The whole idea is because these are aspects of ourselves.
yeah,
The whole idea is to keep it implanted, to keep perpetuating that is separate from us, because
yeah,
our, beloved antagonists, or whatever you want to call it, however this thing's made up, they're that's their objective, that's their role, and because they know that
yeah.
the
Because
more of
we
our
are conditioned like this as human beings. Everything that look different, whether it's a different skin color, different this, a different
gender,
that,
gender,
then we are groomed to that. That
yeah,
ooh, that's dangerous.
yeah,
We are groomed to thinking, focusing on our differences instead of our similarities.
yeah,
So every time we see something that has a different form, or it looks different, or it thinks different, or whatever, it's like a threat.
yeah,
And it causes this division, and that's what is wanted.
yeah. That's what's
To keep.
happening.
Yeah,
But
that's what
at the
has
same
been
time,
happening for
that
thousands of years.
yeah.
That's what has been happening for thousands of years. And now it's just like peaking now. It's just like
Yeah. Well, from the
totally.
chaos, I mean, the chaos itself is the womb of the holy darkness. No, it's the womb of the great
Exactly.
mother. So we're just like we were talking about earlier with relationships, our own individual journeys. We know now that when we have these uncomfortable moments, that there's gold on the other side. So
Exactly.
as within, without. So I'm going to
Yeah.
pull up this before we get out of here. I'm going to pull this up, and I think this is the right one, so people can see it. You say you've already got 1,100 people. This is off your Grace Solaris Sectarian High Council, but I think it's on your other pages as well. Uh, this would be it here, right? Is this the
Yeah.
gathering? Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
already over 1,000 people signed up,
Yeah.
which is pretty powerful, man. That's very powerful.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. It creates an amazing feel, and where we come together in divine intent. And
There's,
so it's like
yeah,
a massive vortex of energy where you can really pull in also this Lionsgate energies, of course, that will deliver exactly what we need right now. And so, these are just amazing, powerful, and that's why it has come to such a strong core. We say the group core is people that just keeps on coming, because every time they just feel, oh wow, now I'm getting to the next level, now I'm rising, I get more clarity, I get my divine gifts open, I get more connected, more aligned, more attuned, my heart expands, healings taking place, all sorts of things. So that's why it started like it was 2.5 years ago or something, and it has just been amazing, how it has just expanded.
well,
So I'm
you're
very grateful.
yeah, you set a great example, and I'm proud to call you my sister, and I know you've helped a lot of people. So those of you who it resonates with, if you haven't signed up, go take a look on her pages, and you know participate, engage it, and I mean, because that's going to be a hell of a vortex with over 1,000 people.
Oh yes.
So
Yeah, and that's just the one that I clicked on going.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you must know there's so there is another 900 something that clicked on interest. Some of them will be changing to going. I always see that, but many of them will be there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just the ones that click going, and then there are all those, like I say, in the closet behind the scenes, that for some reason will not want to appear, click on going, because they maybe have family or friends and so on that they don't
Yeah.
want to know about it. They're still
They
they
got to
often
be.
write to me, is it
Yeah.
okay that I participate though I don't click go? I said, yeah,
They got
okay,
to
no
be
problem.
incognito, man.
Yeah,
And
so
some of
it's a
that's going away.
very, very strong group force field,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's really
Well,
getting something moving. So a lot of energy, a lot of consciousness will be moving, transmuting in all of us. And the thing is, the Acturians, and there are always many other beings. It's just like the Acturians are like the base of it all, like the base note. And then there are other galactic beings coming in, from other, could be Pleiadian, and our higher aspects, of course, come in also.
Yeah.
So there's always so many things happening, openings, divine connections, and people start spontaneous light language, all sorts of things.
Wow.
That
Is this in a giant Zoom setting? What?
No, I mean, most of the time when I do this is simply that we connect in our sacred
Yes,
heart
I got
space.
you. So like Sandra
Yes,
does.
and so I open the group force field. I do that before we start.
Yeah.
I do that with my guides. I call in a lot of guides and the Acturians, of course, and then we open the space, and then I get direction. Sometimes they have something that I need to share, and then I also set the divine intent for the group. So they work actually with the group force field, but they work also with each individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So it is also tailored to your needs. So anyone can say, well, that there's a focus on this is what this particular activation is about. But if you have one or the other thing that you just, like them to work on, you can always just add and say, hey, guys, I have this and that. Could you please, whatever is a physical something.
Clean out the closet.
Yeah.
So
they do work also really with each individual. Yeah. As well as they work, you could say they work via the field, they work with each individual, but because it's so amplified through all the divine intent of everyone, it's such a strong and powerful field that you're really getting very, very high frequencies. So it is a light transmission. Yes. So you simply connect, you state your divine intent to receive it. There's no live, there's no sometimes I get some meditations down that I share. I mean, was that last time I had a guided meditation where you then played during the transmission, but mostly they have been pure light transmission. And I get a lot of visions. I work with the whole group field, so it's a lot of things going on,
This one ought to be good, especially now that you've been divinely coupled.
Oh, yes. Now it's going to be amazing. Absolutely. Yeah. I thought about that myself.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, okay. I'm going to cut it out because we got another show coming. We have another show coming in 34 minutes. It's going to be another one of your sisters.
You're doing some amazing stuff tomorrow with Sacred.
We're gonna have them come on and give a perspective. Not talk so much about divine union, but give a perspective from Four Eyes.
Yeah.
About everything that's gone on the last few weeks. But in 30 minutes, we have another one of the sisters stepping up for the first time. She's out of Norway. And there's so many of them stepping up now. It's a real honor to be able to support that. But thank you, Grace.
Todd, I'm just amazed that you are doing this ongoing. And I sometimes think about how can he pull it off?
It's
showing up
easy.
all the time with all those shows. I mean,
it's not easy.
Deep bow to you, Todd. It's really amazing, and you'll really inspire and help so many. So thank you so much for your service.
Yeah.
And I love you, my favorite soul brother.
I love you too.
And my love
I'll have
our soul family out there.
I'll make a toast to you tonight.
Yes. Okay.
I'm going to reach out to your partner if you don't mind and just say hello and send
do
a friend
that.
request.
He has seen some of your shows. We have talked a bit about you. So
I'm going to send him a friend request and I'm not trying to make him come on. I just want to, because who knows?
He's really open. He would like to connect.
Yeah, because who knows? I might be in the Denver area. You never know.